The light fades with death's cold embrace. You've already been zipped and tagged. Struggle as you might, it will not help. No one can break out of the body bag. Here to oversee the autopsy, your hosts, Chris Thomas and Broke Rider Dave.
Hey, Chris, I would say if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
Life getting you down?
Yeah, but luckily, there's some people in horror movies that have it way worse than I do.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah,
No, I know what you mean. That's why I always expect the worst, because if you expect the worst, you can never be disappointed.
Exactly. But we are going to go through my top 10 poor bastards.
Poor bastards. So, believe the stipulation I gave you is just, it could be a villain, it could be a victim, it could be somebody who's a little bit of both, but you just watch them, you see their story unfold, and you just go, damn, that poor bastard.
Poor bastard. To get started with number 10,
Okay.
I went with Major from Confessional.
Okay.
This guy is he's a complete dick the entire movie.
So how could he be a poor bastard if he's such an asshole?
Well, he sticks his dick in a glory hole and he gets ripped off. Yeah, I was just like, oh, I don't wish that on anybody. Like, you poor bastard.
Poor bastard, but I mean, you roll the dice when it comes to something like that. I mean,
Exactly, yeah, but still rough.
You said Confessional?
Yeah.
Is that a religious horror or something?
No, it's a Shudder exclusive movie I watched a few weeks ago.
Okay. Well, now that I have Shudder, I have to see what that's all about. I mean, is it worth the watch, or am I just going to be sitting around waiting? All right, when's this guy going to get his dick cut off?
Oh, it's definitely a interesting movie. Probably one of the best Shudder exclusives movie-wise.
You usually go down on your list in terms of intensity, but you're starting right off with the genital castration.
Well, it's kind of like going in order of who I feel the worst for. So.
All right. So no, I'm just saying that's usually you start off tame and then and it goes in terms of intensity. So that's number 1.
Yeah.
Or number 10.
Yeah. It's well, that's terrible, and I feel bad for you, but these people I kind of feel worse for.
Yeah. Plus, again, you kind of bring it on yourself when you take that risk.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful where you stick it.
A special message from Body Bag Podcast.
Yeah. On to number 9. I went with Andy from the Child Play series.
Just from a young age.
Yeah, how awful is that is you get the Christmas present you wanted, and it turns out it's possessed by a serial killer. That's just terrible fucking luck.
Good night, Andy. Yeah, I mean, just in terms of I don't know how old he was supposed to be, and I mean, he had to have been 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then just progressively, and Andy's a pretty good choice.
Yeah. It's just he did nothing wrong to get what happened to him. He didn't deserve it.
My mixed bag feeling with kids, but Andy, I watch, I'm like, oh, that poor kid.
That poor kid, yeah.
Poor little kid. He's not so annoying or anything like that, but
he just got a toy and it turned out started to kill people.
Just bad luck.
Terrible luck.
Of all of the good guy dolls or my buddy dolls that he could have transferred his soul into, in all the series of events that had to happen, he transferred his soul into that one in particular, and it was being sold by a homeless man. Yeah. And it was to this woman in particular.
Another lesson from Body Bag Podcast: never buy toys from a guy out of a trunk.
From a homeless man. Was it a guy out of a trunk, or was it a homeless man?
She bought it out of his trunk, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I knew it was some shady dude. But...
Yeah, just don't buy toys from shady people. You never know what could happen. All right, and for number 8, this is a little bit weird one, but I just really felt bad for them. Big John and Little John from Halloween Kills.
I've heard people say that those characters were annoying. I actually liked them.
They were the best characters in that movie.
I actually really liked Big John and Little John.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why. I mean, they did make a couple of dumb decisions, but I don't know why. Yeah. I just liked them. They should have ended up on my Chris Loves Love couples.
Yeah.
I just kind of liked their relationship. I don't know why.
Yeah, like the actors, they have pretty good chemistry. They brought some life into that movie.
And both that couple and the elderly couple, like Michael just has a thing against like happily married couples.
Oh yeah, that other couple too. They had terrible luck. 'Cause that lady was sitting there dying, watching Michael test out.
Yes, test out knives.
Knives on her husband. Which one's the best for stabbing? Let me see.
I'd have put that dude on my poor bastard. Like that dude or that woman just seeing her like test. But yeah, I'll go with Big John, Little John. Just because I liked him.
Yeah, great characters. Number 7 went with John from Last Night in Soho.
Oh, yes, dude, most definitely. That dude is either super loyal or super whipped.
Yeah, like Ellie was putting him through it, yet he stayed by her side, and he ended up getting stabbed for it.
That scene at night was probably the most tense thing. Black man, white woman, his pants are down and he has like face makeup, looking like a crazy person. And he looks like he just got finished attacking her. She's losing her mind off in the corner.
As a guy, I'd say that would be the last time I'd have contact with that woman because dude almost went to jail for that.
He might be my favorite character in that whole movie, but just because, man, poor bad. Like after all of that, he didn't even get the hookup.
Yeah, poor John.
So another message from Body Bag Podcast: nice guys, don't be nice. It's not worth it. Just
especially if she's screaming bloody murder.
Just turn around and walk away. While you still have a chance, just turn around and walk away.
Walk away, yeah. But also just a great movie too.
Yeah, I mean it was a good movie.
Next, I went with Noah from the Scream TV series.
The TV series?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in season 1, season 2. He's kind of like the Randy, kind of like the movie geek, and he also does a podcast about the murders in the second season.
He does a podcast? What a nerd.
Yeah, what the hell is he thinking? But in season 1, he actually gets a hot girl at school to like him, and they go on dates. And as he's getting close to scoring, she gets killed.
Oh, I was about to say, did he get killed?
No, she got killed, like right as they started dating.
Whoever heard of the nerd ending up with a hot girl?
Yeah, it seemed like it was about to happen, and then she was murdered on top of a building he was inside.
Ha, nerd! What'd you think you are, nerd?
Yeah, this is not how movies go, so we gotta kill her.
And even if you did hook up, you know the rules. You would have gotten murdered right after.
Exactly. But also, I feel like the Scream TV series is underrated.
I was about to ask you, does it like stack up to the actual movies?
Season 1 and season 2 are pretty good. They're pretty suspenseful and got a lot of surprise twists. Season 3, even though they went back to using like the actual Ghostface mask, season 3 was just kind of like a dud.
Is that on Netflix or Shudder?
Season 3 is still on Netflix. Season 1 and 2 are moving to Paramount.
That's a weird chop up.
Yeah, well, Paramount like bought the rights to continue the series on from like season 2 to continue on with that story because season 3 took place in Atlanta, where season 1 and 2 are in like Lakewood. So it's just a completely different story that had nothing to do with the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, so Paramount I think bought the right to the season 1, season 2, and they're gonna make another season from those, which I'm kind of excited for because they're bringing back a lot of the cast from the TV show. So that means Noah will be back.
All right. Well, if you say it's worth a watch, I'll give it a check out.
Yeah, definitely recommend checking it out. And then number 5, I went with Evan from Final Destination 2.
I'm trying to remember Final Destination 2. I know that's the one on the highway.
Yeah.
Which gave a whole generation nightmares about driving on the interstate.
Behind a log car, yeah.
Yeah. Was he the main guy who had the vision?
No. He was the first one to die after the car wreck. He was the guy who just won the lottery.
Ugh.
Yeah. So he's coming to his apartment with a bunch of stuff he just bought. And then Death does this thing, causes the apartment to go on fire.
I was about to ask, did he? Because it's been a long time since I've seen 2. I mean, I've seen it. I think the only one I haven't seen is just the very last one. But I was just about to ask, I forget, did he at least die quickly? But you just said he died in a fire, so no, I guess not.
No, he escapes the fire, gets down the fire escape, slips on the spaghetti he threw out his window when he first got there. And then the fire escape ladder just completely drops down through his eye socket.
Death is such a dick.
You're right.
Death gave him hope and then made him die in a very Three Stooges way. Just slip on some spaghetti in a very cartoonish way, and then
Yeah. Boom. Done so.
I was about to say, you know, if he at least died quickly, he could have at least died happy, like having won the lottery if it went quickly, but he died panicky and in a dumb way.
Yeah. And days after winning the lottery. Like, that's worse time to die.
That's what I was saying. At least he would have been happy if he died by getting like a shot to the head or something like that.
Yeah,
It would have
he
been
was-
quick, and
yeah.
it would have been like, all right, well, at least he was in a happy place when he died.
Yeah.
But-
But no.
Nope, death had to be a douche, and
It was a big drawn out thing that was like at least a 5-6 minute scene, his death. So
a lot of people, if you're like religious or something like that, say that God has a sense of humor. If he doesn't, death certainly does.
yeah. And they show that in every Final Destination.
Because death could just easily like just kill people, but he has to set up a Rube Goldberg machine type thing that this runs into this, which knocks into this, which makes this person slip, and then which causes a chain reaction that makes a person like slip and like choke to death on his own shoelaces or something like.
Yeah. And like I definitely rewatched all the Final Destinations in preparation for this list.
Mm-hmm.
I put a bunch of them on there. But
I wanted like either next season or at some point I want to do like strictly 90s early 2000s horror. We're talking like
Yeah.
Idle Hands, Faculty, Final
Yeah.
Destination.
H2O, Valentine,
Yeah, like 90s early 2000s, like that era.
the era of horror that got us into horror.
The era of hit or miss.
Yeah. Next, I am going with Derek from Scream 2.
Is this 4?
Yeah. Poor Derek.
Is he the one that can't sing?
He
The one-
can't sing.
and he, at the very end, she didn't believe him.
Yeah. And then he got shot while he was tied up because she would not tie him.
That dude did nothing but, again, everybody, for all the nice guys out there, like, if horror movies say anything, it doesn't pay to be loyal. It doesn't pay to be the nice,
Nice guy. but
the nice knight in shining armor guy. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, it's not a good thing. You know, I try to be the nice guy and everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do, but horror movies, if you a nice guy, you the knight in shining armor guy, you
will die.
You will die.
I mean, the scene is great, playing like Cindy is psychology coming off of what happened in the first Scream, where her boyfriend was actually the one killing people.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why she wouldn't trust him, but
Yeah.
when you see it happen, you're like, man, that dude didn't deserve that.
Not at all, no. At least his death, that's the only good part. His death was pretty quick. He got shot straight in the heart.
Him and Dewey, I feel like the worst for, and I feel worse for him and Dewey than I do for like Randy, and Randy is like a fan favorite. Yeah, I still haven't. I might not even watch the last Scream movie just because I don't want to see Dewey die.
I mean, there's another one coming out in March. You're going to be too behind.
Yeah, I mean, I was already 3 behind when we did our Scream thing. I had to binge watch all. I had only seen the first one. I had to binge watch the other 2.
Scream is one of the few franchises
I don't
without
know.
a bad movie in it.
I don't know why, because you would think that it would be. You would think that the Scream franchise would be like one of my favorite franchises,
Yeah.
just because of how meta it is.
Yeah.
But like surprisingly, it. I mean, I like it. It's not a bad series by any means. I enjoy him, but I'm surprised I'm not as like diehard as it.
Yeah.
As you would think. I mean, I
Yeah.
love meta stuff like Leslie Vernon and
Yeah,
Cabin in the Woods and
yeah.
Tucker and Dale and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But still a good franchise.
Oh, yeah. Didn't deserve what he got. Number 3, I went with Jeff from Cabin Fever.
All those people from Cabin Fever, that is awful. That's just your skin and everything falling apart.
Yeah. Well, they portrayed Jeff as a dick because as soon as like the virus started going around, he deuced out, left them all, and it's kind of the right call.
I was about to say, there's a fine line in horror movies between being a douche and actually being smart.
Yeah, it was kind of the right call because he didn't contract it.
Yeah.
Just when it was all said and done, he got gunned down by the military.
Yeah, that's kind of like the end of The Mist. Just
Yeah,
like, oh, you think he?
a little foreshadow.
Yeah, just the fine line of like, all right, what is smart? Like, you can either stick around and have a 1 in 100 shot of trying to figure something out, or be doomed to certain death, or hey, guys, I'm out of here. Like, I this thing is gonna kill you guys. It ain't gonna kill me.
Yeah. I ain't gonna catch that, all right? And we saw like how crazy people get with sicknesses when we were going through the pandemic.
Yeah, I was about to say we had mentioned it before when we were talking about it made its. We talked about Cabin Fever not on a different list, and we mentioned COVID and all that business.
Yeah, Cabin Fever is one of those movies we mention every couple months will come up.
I wonder how people would react if that movie came out like last year.
Yeah,
Would that make people even more freaked out, or would people be like, "Wow, this is good social commentary"?
Yeah, probably would have done better in the box office.
Not really, because nobody was going to the movie theaters.
True. Well, if it came out 6 months ago when people were starting to go back to theaters.
Yeah, I've been going to the theaters for the last year now too. So
yeah, definitely rough to make the right call, but he just celebrated a little bit too early. Like if he didn't come out all hyperactive, like, oh my god, Elias, right? Wow.
You always know when somebody's about to die is when they start celebrating.
Yeah, just a little bit too early. If he would have came out calm, nice, like, hey guys, I swear I don't have it. You can check me. I don't got it. He would have probably lived.
Another message from Body Bag Podcast: never celebrate.
Yeah, but he came out hot, and they're just like, oh, he's kind of crazy. He's probably sick.
He's probably sick.
Yeah, so they shot him like 20 times. Yeah.
They got, just for good measure, I guess.
Yeah, they did a little overkill on him. I don't know, a little trigger happy.
Was this your number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're up to the last 2 now?
Last 2.
All right, who are the poorest of the poor bastards?
Number 2 is a trio with Nick, Lori, and Jeanette from Final Destination 4.
Okay.
Very similar. They thought they beat death. They thought they treated to death.
It's always in the last 5 minutes, like where everyone's like, oh, we finally cheated it, and it always happens like 5 months later, or like 2 or 3 months later.
I think it's like 2 weeks later. They're in the coffee shop.
Oh, is this where the ambulance comes driving through the thing,
I think it's a semi truck that comes straight through the wall.
It was a semi, or is it? Yeah, a truck just comes straight through, and then it goes right into credits and seeing their body break and all that.
Because it was I want to say it's like 15 seconds before that, he has a realization. It's like, what if this is Death's plan all along to get us here? Make us think we cheated it.
I would say that any of the people who actually had the visions would probably have to be grouped in as a poor bastard, just because it's like, not only did they die once, but they have to
die again. Yeah,
they have to die again after seeing it all happen.
Yeah,
again,
just that whole franchise is chock full of poor bastards.
Again, just Death being a jerk and be like, you could have at least they got killed relatively quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it took up the entire credit sequence, but I mean, it was, but it would have been only a few seconds of them just getting run over.
Yeah.
I mean, they got off lucky compared to a lot of other people.
Oh, yeah. Final Destination has some crazy deaths. Eventually, we will cover this franchise.
Maybe we'll have one whole season where it's just, all right, Final Destination 1, let's talk about it.
Well, there's 5 of them, yeah. I can fill a season with that.
5 episodes, 5 Final Destinations.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the first 2 were really good. 3 and 4 kind of go down, and then the last one was actually pretty good.
We'll at least have one episode where we just talk about the franchise in general.
Yeah, we have to. Time for our poorest of the poor bastards.
Poorest of the poor bastards.
It's funny, because you just mentioned a little bit ago. David from The Mist.
Yeah, he... is that what you meant by foreshadowing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant I foreshadowed the ending for those who haven't seen The Mist. Oh man, I remember hating that. Especially at when I was 16 or however old I was when that came out, and I was just like, man, that was awful. Why would you put me up? But I mean, now it's so awful that I love that ending. That's like, man, that just sucks so bad.
It's so soul crushing and heartbreaking. You're just like, poor David.
It's like, what do you even do? I'm like, that guy, I give him less than a month before he puts an actual bullet in his head.
How do you move on from that? You drove past your house, see your wife dead. About 10 minutes later, you shoot your son and 3 other people.
And what you thought was a mercy killing.
Yeah, only to realize if you would have waited just 10 seconds, you'd have been okay.
And not only that, but to have to see the people it was the people who were at the store, got rescued, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they were part of that group that was driving past them.
To see all of those people who were trying to kill you be actually the ones that get rescued, it's so unfair.
That whole sequence is just a gut punch.
There has to be a sequel where that dude has a mental breakdown and he goes and hunts all those people who tried to do that and then kills himself.
Yeah.
I would just be so angry at the world to see those
Angry at
people.
everybody, yeah.
To see the only good people who were the ones who were in the car
Yeah.
die, and the ones that were trying to kill you this entire time, trying to kill your kid, trying to, falling under the influence of that religious fanatic Carmody
Yeah.
and all that business. And then I would just be so bitter with the world.
Yeah. Like,
You know how they say
such
everybody
a great
has.
movie, yeah.
How they say everybody has their breaking point. I think that would be my breaking point.
I think that's just about everybody's breaking point.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna kill everybody and then kill myself. I'm about to burn this whole thing down.
To burn it all to the ground. But also, because of that movie, I kind of pay a little bit more attention to who I'm in a supermarket with. Just in case that situation ever comes where I'm locked in a supermarket with people in an Armageddon type situation.
To just make sure that you're super friendly to everybody in case the apocalypse happens. You're like, all right, I need some people on my side.
Yeah, I need numbers here. We're about to play Survivor. I need the biggest alliance.
Yeah. Good number one. I mean, that's an awful thing to have happen.
That's like, I would say in horror movies, that's the worst fate, that where you don't die.
Where you have to live, not only being the only one left, but knowing that knowing that if you'd have just waited a couple more seconds,
your son would still be alive. And he's going to play that moment in his head again and again and again. He's going to be thinking, like, I think I might have heard the trucks. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And just going over every second of that.
All of his decisions, like if I'd have done this, or if I'd have just stayed here, if I'd have made this different decision, we would have all
Just brutal for that guy.
Yeah, I have to again thank Spencer Ambleton again for having us rewatch that thing, because I hadn't seen it for years and I have a new appreciation for it. So
yeah, same here. Like when we did the episode on it, was the first time watching in a couple of years.
I was like, I'm still angry, but I appreciate it a little more.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good way to wrap up a top 10, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So
poor bastards.
So I do believe that I was re-listening to our last episode, that I believe that we're going to switch it up.
Yes, we are.
My top 10 is going to be coming out a week after this episode. But the following month, you're going to be taking over the hashtag hates.
Yep.
And I already have one for you.
Okay.
I want you to come up with your hashtag Dave hates motivation. What are your top 10 hated motivations for why a killer is doing what they're doing?
Okay.
So a villain's motivation, where it could either be like it doesn't make sense, or it's just nonsensical or whatever, but your top 10 hated reasons why villains are doing what they're doing in a horror movie.
Okay.
So hashtag Dave hates motivation.
Well, it'd be Dave hates motives.
All right, Dave hates motives then.
Yeah.
So that one should be an interesting one.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of reasons why villains are driven to do what they do, but sometimes you go, that's dumb.
Yeah.
That will be a fun one.
Kind of excited for this list.
Yeah, doing the hates is, the last couple, we'll get into it when we go into my episode, but...
Yeah. Hey, everyone, it's my top 10. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Have a good week, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Body Bag Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment as to what you'd like to hear us review, or any horror movie topics you'd like to hear us rant and rave about.
And while you're at it, you can find us on Twitter at BodyBagPod and on Instagram at BodyBagPodcast.
Thanks, and we'll see you next time.